Hi everyone, this is Heba from My Little Journal, and today I'm going to do a flip through of my project life. This is volume 1 of 2020. I'm really excited to do this flip through because I have not even looked through my first volume or volume 1, and I finished it recently, so I wanted to share with you how my album turned out. Now, I do kind of stick to the same format every week. I find that to be easier and to be able to keep up with my project life. And I do have a class called Pocket Pages 101. I always have it linked in the description box. And it's all about how to keep up with project life, tips and tricks, really great ideas for beginners, for pros, whatever the case is. It's a great class if you are interested. So let's get into it. I do use Studio Calico's 6x12 albums. I changed into a 6x12 last year, so this is my second year in a 6x12, and I've been really enjoying it. There is going to be a bit of a glare because of the lighting, and all the photos are in pockets, so I apologize about that. There's just no way around it. Anyways, I always start my album with a large photo of my family. I ended up just choosing, I usually choose a photo from the year before, like one of my favorites, and add that in my pockets and just have that as my title page. I ended up using this acrylic piece that says Hello 2020 from Colorcast Design. Love Colorcast Design, always recommend it. They have beautiful acrylic pieces and wood veneers, and I have them kind of scattered on my projects here and there. So week 1, 2, and 3 are part of my pocket page classes. So I'm going to skip those and move to week 4, just because, like I said, those are part of my Pocket Page 101 class, and I'm not going to share them on YouTube. If you're interested in that class, I do have it linked down in the description box for you. But in week 4, this is a special occasion that I wanted to kind of document my birthday and turning 43. And I usually, when I have a lot of photos and I want to document all of them, I will add an insert, which is really rare in my project life. But again, like I said, if I have a special occasion, I have loads of photos, I will add an insert in there. But I was just documenting going out with my sister and my niece, my kids, my sister-in-law, my other sister, and we ate out a lot, so I wanted to document the good food we had. I used a Studio Calico kit for this one. I've been a subscriber to Studio Calico since like 2011 or 12. So I love their kits and I love using their products in my project life. So I just literally even trimmed out one of my cards to create a frame for my photo. And I love, this is one of my favorite layouts in my project life for 2020. Week 5, again, I believe these are from Studio Calico. I also do love stamping on my photos, and I stamped You Are So Weird, and I love it. My daughter's down here. She never likes taking photos. That's why you see more photos of my son than my daughter. Some family time. I like to journal, just little tidbits and facts throughout the week. I don't write in-depth stories in my project life. I just feel like, I want to see the photos more than anything. So that's why I kind of keep the journaling to a minimum. We got some snow in week 6, which is very rare here in Georgia. And another Studio Calico kit. Love this card so much. I love snow photos because I can use like busy patterns when I'm documenting snow photos. And I just love this layout so much, especially that it's snow and we don't get it as much, even though I think it just snowed for like 2 hours. I did add some journaling. I do also add some journaling on my photos here. This is a great way to preserve space on your project life, so you don't have to add more cards for journaling. And if you just journal it on your, or if you add the journaling on your photos, it makes more sense and it keeps extra space for other photos or cards. Week 7, we got to go to Tennessee to visit my sister. She lives in Tennessee. We also went to Ruby Falls. We went out and had amazing Southern breakfast. So I documented that. Now, because we went to Ruby Falls and we spent like a couple of days in Tennessee, it wasn't a couple of days, I think it was like one night, but I wanted to add some more photos of Ruby Falls and my Ruby Falls ticket. So I created a little flip pocket, and I like to add some tabs here and there just to remember that there's a flip there. And this is also a great way to add more photos, but not take space out of your layout, if that makes sense. So, and I love to do collages. Collages is another great way to add multiple photos in one pocket. So I really like how that one turned out. And I believe these cards are from Kelly Perky. And the Tennessee stamp set here, Studio Calico has state stamp sets. They're perfect if you're traveling. So I had that Tennessee one and I used it to document our trip. I used Feed Your Crafts kit here. I believe it's the Add to Cart kit. And I used that kit to document my niece turning 4. I even used one of my Altenew dies to cut out this 4. Love those dies. They're just larger numbers. They're perfect. And I just kind of layered to bring in the colors from her rainbow cakes. She got 2 rainbow cakes. She's a special little girl. And I love how this one is so colorful, and it just represents my niece and her love for unicorns and rainbows. Week 9 was my father's birthday, so we celebrated my dad turning 80. So I wanted to make sure I remember this is when dad turned 80. So I stamped out 80, and I used Everyday Explorer stamp set. It's like the Celebrate stamp set, and you can kind of use it to celebrate graduations, birthdays, anniversaries, all that good stuff. My daughter wasn't feeling so well, so this was a visit to the doctors, and I used some Kelly Perky stamps, stamped it directly on my photo. Just says kind of, give me a break and you're killing me smalls, because I believe this was like the second time we went to visit the doctor within like a week or two. So it was not fun. I journaled about the little things. I added a photo of my son's senior graduation photos. He's so handsome. And I just stamped, congratulations, you did it, yay. And I really wanted to add that in my spread. And usually, by the way, if my photos are just all over the place, I will turn a few into black and white. I'll filter them to black and white just so I can kind of balance things out and mute down the colorfulness of my layout, if that makes sense. So you can see here, I turned that into black and white. This was really busy photo. And well, this one was already black and white, but I think it looks great. It kind of balances everything out, having 2 black and white photos on one spread. Now, March, this is when COVID hit. This week was the kind of last week of being out and about, and it was my sister's birthday, and so we took her out. You can see here, we took her out for her birthday, had a nice cake for her and all that good stuff. We went out for sushi. So on this side of my spread, I was documenting my sister's birthday, turning 40. I always stamp or mention how old that person turned, just to kind of remember when I go through my project life. My husband was traveling and came home, so I captured that photo of him and my son hugging, and I added some journaling. And this is when the S hit the fan. That's what I'm gonna say. Because I went to grab stuff from the grocery store, and the toilet paper was almost gone, which was, to me, was shocking. Like, why is everybody buying toilet paper? Even though I really didn't need toilet paper, but I was just like in shock that people were grabbing toilet paper. So as a documenter, I captured that photo. And then on the news, it was all about toilet paper and how places were running out and things like that. So I was really happy with myself that I captured that photo. And then we get into the quarantine week, or everybody's quarantining. So this is week 11. And at that end of that week, my son found out that he got into UGA. So I documented that. This is the email we got from school letting us know that they're shutting down and the kids are going to go online for a few weeks. They weren't sure if we're going back or not yet. So I really wanted to document that. I documented Happy Mail, little things like that. And then week 12 is like when everything just went bananas. I was documenting COVID and what's going on in the world and in the country. The shelves, literally everything was gone. This is like, I think, the bread shelves. There was nothing. So I used Kelly Perky stamps here to stamp like Mother Trucker with the fork, things like that, because I was shocked, like people were going bananas. I also kept the little postcard that everybody got in the mail about COVID. And my son like was playing with our neighbor's kid. So he was on the other side of the fence, and our neighbor's kid goes to obviously to the same school, and they're in band together. So they were playing, trying to stay the 6 feet apart. And I just journaled about that, getting his acceptance letter from UGA. And then my mom was creating this beautiful quilt for my son. So I wanted to document that as well for his graduation present. We are still quarantining, the kids having band concerts online, going for walks together. We were really enjoying that, especially that the weather was gorgeous at the time. Documenting what's going on the news. And then I journaled, of course. Our morning breakfasts have gotten more intense, let's say. I've started to put more effort in them because the kids are home and not rushing to school. In week 14, I started using Kelly Perky's quarantine or stay safe kit. I believe it was a swag bag, and I used the cards to kind of document us staying at home, going on walks. This photo really tells you the story of how nobody was out. We were just out for a walk, and it was just empty streets, and this road here is pretty busy. So it was kind of shocking to see that. My son getting his UGA socks in the mail, and kind of journaled about that. Still using some of the stickers from Kelly over here. And my daughter and I like pressure washing, also journaled. Again, I love journaling on photos. It keeps the rest, or let's say putting it together is easier because you don't have to worry about journaling. But also you can use like filler cards, those pretty filler cards that we all have extras of. So week 15, my son's friend came, stayed 6 feet apart, and they were playing their instruments in the front yard. This has become like a neighborhood thing where when they hear my son playing, they always come out, clap for him and stuff like that. Actually, I think maybe I documented it later on, but I do have a photo of the neighbor's kids who actually gave him a tip, and it was just the cutest thing. Everybody's on FaceTime. I was FaceTiming my sisters and mom almost daily because the seniors missed out on their senior year. Their marching band director was so sweet. On Easter, he put Easter eggs on the kids' lawns, and he was hiding them and leaving notes and candy. It was so sweet. Bought Animal Crossing, puzzle time. My daughter and I do a lot of puzzles. I'm so grateful that we have so many puzzles because there was no puzzles anymore. You couldn't buy puzzles. That's crazy. And I love looking through these because it's so weird, even though this was not long ago, but I forgot these little tidbits that happened throughout the month. Week 16, took my son to the field at high school so he can do his little audition for UGA's marching band. He was auditioning for that. We took a walk, major headache, journaled about my headache here, documenting what I was watching that week, and another puzzle. Week 17, it's getting warmer, we're getting into summer, so I really wanted it to look and feel more summery, so I used those pineapple cards from Studio Calico, and they're just so pretty. Did a little bit of stamping. Sock and flop, that's what I called it at the time. While we're staying at home, I did not feel like getting dressed whatsoever. I was in like leggings and PJs all the time, and when I would go to the mailbox, I would just put on some flip-flops over my socks and go pick up my mail and don't even care who sees me. We also were missing Chick-fil-A. We're big fans of Chick-fil-A, so it was nice to order delivery from Chick-fil-A, which was so awesome, and I had to document it. Seeing friends staying 6 feet apart. They stayed in their car. I just journaled about that while we stood by the door, and just little things like that, talking about my son missing out on his senior year. It was an emotional day that day, so I kind of journaled about that. Again, 6 feet apart kind of thing, friends coming over to see us. Ramadan started, so we were celebrating Ramadan, and this is some sweets that we make in Ramadan, and I love it so, so much. I don't even know why we don't do it year round because they're so freaking good. But of course, I had to document that. I miss that every year, and once Ramadan hits, I have to make them. I have some journaling back here, just talking about us playing Monopoly. It's a mess, you guys, when we play Monopoly. So I ended up adding my journaling on the back of my card and just added a little tab to remind me that there's some journaling back there. I don't know if other people will know that there's journaling if they see the tab, but I do. So, you know, just kind of a reminder for myself, because if I didn't put that tab, I would not remember that I have journaling back there. Another FaceTime with my sisters and my mom. We were all creating while chatting together. And this is where the mask selfies come in. So obviously my son missed his senior graduation, high school graduation. And of course that was sad, but the school tried their hardest to make it special for them. This is when we went to pick up their cap and gowns. And even though it was just like a drive-through and he got to see some of his teachers and things like that and the principal, it was still very special for him. They were so sweet. They took pictures of the kids from their cars. They gave them cake and cookies. It was a lot of fun. It really put a smile on his face, especially the week before or so. He was kind of sad, and just having this special moment was a great moment for him. They even started posting daily a photo of each senior and what college they're going to on their Instagram. So I just screenshotted that and added that in my album. I'm using, again, Kelly Perky's cards here. This is the quarantining cards or stay safe cards, and just documenting my son, you know, trying to figure out ways to exercise at home. So kind of doing boxing. Another selfie mask photo, going to Kroger's, picking up my groceries and not going down, which is fine with me. I think it's just harder finding what you need, let's say. But I just cut this out of one of Kelly Perky's cards. And it says, this is day number 845 of quarantining. And it really feels like that. Documented President Obama. They did like a senior graduation on YouTube, which was so sweet. And my son and I watched it together. And just documenting little things like my son getting the Hustle Award here. And obviously it was online, but he was still, you know, celebrated even though we couldn't go in person. So week 21 was a special occasion. If there was going to be a graduation, it would have been in week 21. But because there was no graduation anymore, so we celebrated Leith in our own way. He wore his cap and gown. I really wanted this to represent him and that special moment for him. Just took pictures with his grandparents, with us, and added some journaling. Now, because we did a few things for him that day, I ended up using, you know, or documenting that week in 4-page protectors. So this is the same day. Again, multiple photos, making a collage, a great way to add multiple photos in one pocket. He just really loved the little mini albums I made for him for his senior year. My mom made that beautiful quilt for him. Hopefully you guys can see that. It's just gorgeous. He was so happy. I've never seen him tear up and cry over something like that. You know, he was just so emotional. It really, you know, stuck with him. He loved it. And just added a few things for him. I wanted to kind of document that and document his special moment. And I love how these spreads turned out. Oh, and these are photos of us going to visit some special seniors of ours. We love them so much. So we went over there, got our girls some flowers and gifts and things like that, just so they can feel special as well, because obviously they missed out on graduation as well. Now, week 22, we found out that they're gonna have a drive-in graduation for the kids. So really excited. We got in that car and went and celebrated him. He got his diploma. He was so excited. He got to see a few friends. It it was a lot of fun, so I kind of documented that. They had fireworks, and I have a little flip here. This is just a photo of all the cars in the drive-in coming to celebrate their seniors. And I just added some journaling, talked about the graduation drive-in, and called that one done. Now we're in week 23. This is the week where Black Lives Matter movement started. It didn't just start, it's been happening, but it's, it made people think, and I wanted to document that. So I created this collage of photos from the news, things that I want to remember. I used Azari's stamp set and some of her free printables to add in between. This is a timeline from Persnickety Prints that I wanted to add as well. And I also still had photos from the week that I wanted to document. So I broke it up. So this side is all about the Black Lives Matter movement, and the opposite side is about little things that we did that week, like cleaning up my daughter's room and reorganizing things, cutting my son's hair. I've become a barber, you guys. I'm getting better by the day, and going to the pool. And then week 24, I was using some Studio Calico cards here, keeping it simple again. Another collage. I love the 3 collage thing, especially like with something like this where my son was wearing his mascot suit for the last time. So I kind of did the whole like dancing look for him because he's always dancing in his mascot suit. My kids working on the yard, my husband working on our gazebo, just little things like that that I wanted to document, and adding my journal, of course, just talking about what's happening. And this says, hey, vacay. I crossed out the vacay and put no, because nobody's going on vacay right now. Then week 25 was very special because we brought our new puppy home, Mr. Stitch here, and this was so exciting for the kids. He's just adorable, like a visit to the vet. I journaled about it. Went to the pool one day, just keeping it simple, more kind of focusing on Mr. Stitch here and documenting his beautiful face. And we are in week 26. This is the last week of June. I usually end my albums at June, kind of, halfway through the year. And I'm documenting pool time. I used Kelly Perky's summer swag bag for this spread. My daughter getting her permit because she's going to start driving soon. And then, of course, you're going to see more photos of Stitch throughout my albums now. So I have a few photos of him and just pool time, and I love how this turned out. Now, the back of this page protector is empty because I will end it with a collage, a large 6x12 collage maybe of my favorite photos, or I'll end it with another favorite photo, let's say of the kids or the family or whatever the case is. I haven't decided yet, but usually every year I finish it off with a large photo of the family. But I have been thinking of just adding a photo of my son's senior photo or something like that, because this year was a special year for him. So I was thinking of doing that. I'm not sure yet, but I'll figure it out. But that's the end of volume 1. I love my Project Life albums. I love looking through them. They bring back so many memories. Have them in an album to kind of remember how life started, how life ended, things like that. I think this is a great project. If you are still iffy about starting a Project Life, I say go for it. If you're too scared to start because it's too big of a project, take my Pocket Pages 101 class. It breaks down everything for you, and go small. This 6x12 album has become a favorite of mine. I used to work in 12x12s, and they're huge, they're heavy once you start working in them, and they're really hard to flip through. These are perfect. The 6x12, it's half the size, but you can also still have that whole 12x12 sheet, if that makes sense. So I definitely recommend it. You can see I do add inserts as well. I have a few weeks where I did 2 layouts instead of 1. So I definitely kind of play around with it, and it's still not as heavy as a 12x12, and it's perfect to put on your shelf. I do end up with 2 albums a year, but I'm okay with that. You know, back when I used the 12 by 12, I used to end up with 1 album, but I'm okay with the 2 as long as I can flip through this easily and not feel like I'm carrying 800 pounds worth of page protectors, if that makes sense. So, but that's it, you guys. Again, I will link everything in the description box. I'll also link my Project Life process videos, the playlist up above for you. And I hope you guys enjoyed watching this flip through. And if you did, please give me a thumbs up. And if you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. And I hope to see you guys very soon. Bye.